do it. All right. Joe Benigno with you here on the Oh the Pain podcast. It is Monday. What is it? April 18th, 2022. And the Joe Benigno Oh the Pain podcast brought to you by Beach Camera, by the Hackensack Brewing Company, by KZ Sports Marketing, by Anita Discount Tire, by Blue Hill Golf Course up in Pearl River, New York, and by the Sidebar in Hackensack, New Jersey, where we'll be doing a live podcast a week from tomorrow. And joining us right now, former outstanding safety for the New York Jets, one of my favorite players of all time, underrated guy. I think he's the best safety in history of the franchise. Number 22, Erik McMillan. And Erik, before I bring you in, I just want to say that Erik is joining us courtesy of Kenny Zor and KZ Sports Marketing. Erik, how are you?
Doing well. I can't complain. No complaints here, buddy.
Now, before we get into your career a little bit here, I want to talk about what you're doing now. You're living down in Georgia. I believe you're coaching football down there, high school football. Am I correct?
Correct. Yeah, I'm coaching high school football. I've been doing it for about the past 13, this will be my 13th year coming up. So 12 years in, 13th season coming up. And, in the 12 years that I got 33 DBs in college and one in the pros right now. So I've been, highly motivated to, do what I'm doing and stick with it and keep molding young men, and give them the gifts that I can't use anymore.
Yeah, so you 33 defensive backs, you're telling me that you got in various colleges. And right. I believe, and I'm not familiar with this gentleman, but I believe you have a guy who's playing right now for the Falcons. Am I right about that?
No, he's playing for the Green Bay Packers.
Oh, for Erik. The Packers. Okay, who is that, Erik?
Erik Stokes, number 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Playing cornerback. Right. He's a cornerback. Right.
And you so you just coaching the defensive backs? Is that what you're doing right now?
Well, right now I'm coaching DBs and I'm special teams coordinator.
Okay.
But I recently started doing special teams 3 years ago. So somebody believed in me and thought I'd be a good special teams guy. And, quite frankly, my special teams is the best in the region right now. My guys are ranked nationally. My kick returners are.
Nice.
So, we're doing pretty good, man.
Pretty good. Now you looking to coach down the road, maybe college football, maybe the NFL somewhere. I mean, you thinking about that?
I've been thinking about that for 12 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Looking for opportunities. The Jets were, very gracious enough to give me an internship back in 2016, and then the Chargers brought me in as a coach, intern coach.
Okay.
In 2018. So, still looking for opportunities, still looking to get back into the Bill Walsh coaching opportunities and, see what happens. Just somebody got to give me an opportunity, man.
Well, I'll tell you what, as a player, and I remember your career well, your rookie year, 1988, you and James Hasty come up to the Jets that year and really elevated that secondary, elevated that team. You had a good team that year. Should have been better. Should have been about 11-win team. You guys went 8-7-1 that year. I believe you led the NFL in interceptions. You had 8 picks that year. You had 3 against that one game against Marino, where you had 3 picks. I think you had two you returned for touchdowns that year, 1 against Marino. How about that rookie year coming up in 88 with the Jets playing for Joe Walton? Bud Carson was your defensive coordinator. How about that, Erik?
I could really never thank, Joe Walton and Bud Carson enough for, giving me the opportunity to believe in me and draft me. And, Bud really molded me very well in terms of using my skills and abilities and intellect to figure things out and be in the right place at the right time. Playing with James Hasty, I mean, it was like Batman and Robin, dynamic duo. I mean, that was my guy, man. And, we both got drafted in the same round, 3rd round. I was 3A, he was 3B.
Right.
And, we were roommates in the hotel. We found a place in Long Island and became roommates. We rented a house together, during the season, and we were really close, man. And it showed how close we were. We did what we had to do when we had to do it as rookies. In terms of, a lot of success that I had as a rookie, Bud Carson was the defense coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers back in the day.
Yep.
And
Yep.
my college coach, Woody Woodenhofer, was the linebacker coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers back in the day on the same team as Bud. So Woody taught us the Steelers defense, while I was in college. So when I came to the Jets, I was running Bud's defense the previous
Right,
3 years. And, so all my plays really looked the same. Bud had different names for different assignments and different calls, for different scenarios. But I just had to learn a different language, but I was doing the same thing. And so, I just fell in line and did what I had to do.
So you played for Woody Woodenhofer you went to University of Missouri, right?
Correct.
University of Missouri, played for Woodenhofer there. Wow, that's interesting. So it was really easy for you coming to the Jets. And I tell you what, when I think of Erik McMillan, I think of a guy that owned Dan Marino. I mean, I got to tell you right now, there was nothing I enjoyed more as a Jet fan when Marino was, because the Jets should have took Marino in the draft in '83. Don't even get me started. I'm still aggravated about
They
it.
had
I
a
mean,
chance.
that's 40 years later, and I'm still pissed off about it, to be honest, that they took O'Brien. And all due respect to Kenny, he was a good player, but he wasn't Marino, that they took him instead of Marino. But you owned him. I mean, how many interceptions? I mean, every time you played him, you at least picked off one, didn't you?
At least one. Yeah, at least one per game. Yeah, one per meeting. Yeah, that was the quota.
No, you really, and that first game you played him in '88, you beat him 44-30 that year down in Miami. I'll never forget the game. You had 3 picks in that game. You had one you returned for a touchdown. You kind of the interception return for a touchdown. I can see it right now. You kind of juggled it up in the air a little bit, came down with it, and then you go in for the TD. Like I said, you won that game 44-30. You guys had 5 interceptions against. I think he threw for 520 yards in that game, and you picked them off 5 times and beat him 44-30. You had 3 of them. Did you ever talk to Marino about this? Did he ever come up to you and say, "Hey, Erik, can you stop intercepting me every time I see you"?
No, it's every time I see Marino, I just say, "Hey, man, how you doing?" And we don't really talk that much. We really don't. So we just we're cordial to one another, and
right.
just going about our business. But there's no long conversations. However, I have talked to Mark Duper and Mark Clayton, and the Marx brothers both told me that. They should tell Dan, "Hey man, don't throw that ball in there 22. Don't do it. Don't throw that pass. Don't do that." But Marino had a great arm. It's very accurate. I thank God for my abilities to have the quickness and intellect that I did. He looked right where he was throwing. So if I saw him looking a particular, direction or a particular receiver, then I knew that I had the ability to get there before that ball got there and, make the play. So
I always felt, Erik, and we're talking to the great Erik McMillan, Joe Benigno with you here on the Oda Payne podcast. I always felt that you were kind of Ed Reed before Ed Reed. Okay. Ed Reed was the ball hawk supreme, maybe the greatest free safety that ever played. And you could make a case for that. He was unbelievable. But you were the same way. I mean, nobody smelled the ball. You were always around that freaking ball, Erik. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, a lot of all my homeboys, all my friends that I grew up with, they say, "Erik, man, you were, all these guys that are getting paid millions of dollars now, you were doing that, before your time," is what they said. And I was like, I told my dad, I said, "Dad, I wish you had me a little bit later so I could make the kind of money these guys are making." But hey, it was my time, and I just tried to, live in the moment.
And speaking of your father, when you bring him up, I mean, he was a great player too. Played offensive tackle for the St. Louis Cardinals back in the primarily the '60s. I guess he played into the '70s as well, but played with guys like Jim Hart, those kind of guys, Mel Gray, all those guys. I guess he played with Deardorff and Conrad Dobler too. Didn't he play with those guys on that offensive line?
Let's see. You got Jim Hart, Terry Metcalf, Roger Worley, Jackie Smith, Larry Stallings, Dan Deardorff, Conrad Dobler, Larry Wilson.
The great safety. Speaking of great free safeties, he was kind of Larry Wilson, maybe the prototypical free safety, really, the first guy, to be like that.
Right. So, I remember all those guys. Amar Rashad, was named Bobby Moore back in the earlier days. I mean, all those guys were kind of my role models that I tried to emulate because I used to see them as a little boy running around on Saturdays in their practices and watching film with them, in the meetings. I just tried to emulate what I saw, and they laid a good foundation for me.
Yeah, and your father's doing well now. We talked off the air. He's doing well, your father, these days?
Yeah, my father's doing pretty good, man. He's making the most out of life, as best he can, as he climbs up there in age a little bit.
Talking again to the great Erik McMillan. I want to get back to you. Did you get more pumped up to play? Because I tell you what, one of the underrated rivalries, I believe, in the NFL that doesn't get enough, enough credit for being that is the Jet Dolphin rivalry. Especially when you go back to the days, especially when Marino was playing. I mean, it goes back even before that to the Mud Bowl in '82 and before your time and all of that. Believe me, I got scars all over my body from that. But so it was always a little more when you played at Miami and especially Marino. Was that how the team felt about it too?
I think some of the older guys, some of the guys that have been there before me, like, Marty Lyons and Gastineau and
Right.
Al Clifton and, Ken O'Brien and Wesley and Al, those guys probably, felt a lot more of the scenario that you just explained, more so than I did. My focus was, playing for Bud Carson. I don't want to make any mistakes. I'm trying to play mistake-free. And to be honest with you, I didn't get into all the rivalry and all like that. I mean, I'm gonna be aggressive and go tackle a guy and do what I naturally do, but I didn't want to make any mistakes. So I was focused on this has got to be called in this situation. If he moves, then I need to go to this call. I need to be here. I need to be there. I need to make sure my guys are dropping back or they're in man coverage. I mean, I had enough on my plate to be worried about, the history of the game. I was trying to make history.
Right. So. Right. And you did a pretty damn good job of that. I want to go back again to that rookie year because, like I said, you went 8-7-1 that year. Probably should have won 11 games. Beside the Miami game, I mean, is there any one game that year that sticks out? Maybe when you beat the Giants to knock them out of the playoffs in the last game of the year. Remember that game? Al Toon in the corner against Flint to win the game from O'Brien. Right. How about that game? How about that, Erik?
Well, playing against the Giants is now. If you want to talk about getting into it, I mean, hometown bragging rights.
Right,
that kind of affects, what your off season is like. If we see those guys, I can always look and say, hey, we got you, kind of thing. But playing the home team, Giants, Jets in New York, yeah, that's got its own little hype to it. Beating them, in that particular game, was a great win for us. Ken O'Brien really communicated well with Al non-verbally on an ill-advised pass, that only those two came up with, based on, the situation of how the guys lined up on defense. And it came at the right time. It was a great thrown ball, and Al made a perfect catch, to spin around and adjust his body to catch the ball, shield off the defender in the end zone for the win. So, that was phenomenal, man. And it really translated, into our offseason with a lot of animosity, towards the two organizations. Wow. I remember playing against the Giants in a benefit basketball game, in Staten Island. And, it was so competitive and so intense that, two of our players, one of our players on their team, one of our players on our team, one of the players on their team got into a fight. And, it turned into a brawl and they had to cancel the game and it was televised. I mean, that's how much animosity.
Now, wait, hold on. So this is a charity basketball game in the off season after the '88 season, after you beat them, knock them out of the playoffs, last game of the year. Okay, all that. And now you're playing in a charity basketball and they had to cancel a game because you guys, do you remember who the guys were getting in a fight? Do you remember who they were?
Yeah, I do, but I'm not going to mention it.
You're not going to mention it. Okay.
I'm going to leave it silent and just leave it at that. Yeah. Well, yeah, it happened, man. It happened. And, it just goes to show you, what the rivalry is all about, when the two teams meet.
Yeah, no question about it. And we're talking again to Erik McMillan. Every now and then, Erik, I get this thing that pops up and on the screen here. So my wife has to come in because I have no technological ability whatsoever. And I don't mind telling this to everybody, anyway. And she's got to get rid of it because it's kind of blocking the screen a little bit. So I'm doing that right now. She's venturing. There we go. There we go. So you don't see that, but she's waving to you now.
All
Again,
right.
Joe Benigno, the Oda Pain podcast with the great Erik McMillan. All right, what was the issue? Your career moves on. Bruce Kozler takes over after the 1989 season. Walton gets fired. Bruce Kozler comes in. And what was the deal with all of a sudden now you're not starting anymore? You're like, I guess you're using it in a nickel package. You were playing special team and you were a special teams demon. I mean, watching a lot of these games now again that I do on YouTube. I mean, McMillan's making every freaking tackle on the special teams. What was the issue with you and Bruce Kozler? What happened with that?
Well, to be honest with you, I really don't know what the issue was. I mean, I met the guy. Okay?
Right. Right.
I mean, Pete Carroll, Greg Robinson, Ed Donatel, Bruce Coslet, and the rest of his coaching staff, they were in the facilities the day I returned from my second Pro Bowl in 1989 in
Right.
February.
So you made Pro Bowl the first 2 years of your career.
Right,
you were Pro Bowl.
right.
Right.
I met him in the building, and we decided to progress from there and go from there. And I was still in graduate school, so apparently Bruce came from Cincinnati Bengals, and
Right.
there were several Cincinnati Bengals guys that were in the locker room working. I mean, in the
Now,
weight
I
room.
want to stop you for a second, Erik, because we
Right.
talked about this off here. So you went to grad school at Fordham, right? You were going to
Correct.
Fordham in the
Correct.
off season, right?
Correct. Yeah. I enrolled in graduate school after my first Pro Bowl at Fordham because I wanted to, go for a master's degree in
Right.
education.
Right.
And
Right.
in the event that, I stepped off the curb, blew my knee out, I couldn't play anymore. I
Sure.
wanted to have a second career, something that I can professionally go into. So that's why I did that. But I met Bruce, at the closing last 3 months of my master's degree, February, and I graduated that May. So when I graduated, the Jets press department wanted to do a photo shoot, me in my cap and gown, the football in my hand, diploma in the other hand. We did that, and we're out there on the football field, taking these pictures, and Bruce comes out and he says, "What's going on?" And I guess somebody told him, "Hey, it's McMillan. He's, taking pictures for, graduating, with his master's, and we kind of want to play that up, so to speak." So then he left. You would think, somebody would see somebody cap and gown, you'd say congratulations, something like that, but nothing was said. And no hard feelings. I had no problem with it. When it came time for, well, they told me they were going to give me a new contract based on my first 2 years,
Right.
first 2 seasons. And training
When
camp
you signed, I want to stop you again, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but when you signed now, because it was different back in 1988, your rookie contract was how many year deal were you signed for right off the bat?
It was 3 years, 3-year
3
deal,
years.
3 years and
Okay.
an option.
Okay.
So Dick Steinberg was a new general manager at
Right.
that time.
Right.
And, he called my agent and said, "Hey, Erik clearly outplayed his contract. So we want to give him another one." I didn't ask for it, but I was like, "Hey, cool," because
Yeah,
I
right,
knew
sure.
I already knew
Sure.
I was underpaid, based on, Andre Bruce signed the lowball contract as the first player picked in the '88 draft. Everybody else underneath him made less money. So I was like, cool. So we get to training camp and I don't have a new contract yet. They haven't even called my agent back. So I'm like, I'm in good faith, where's the new deal? So I said, I'm not going in today. First day of training, I said, I'm not going in. I held out. Okay,
Right,
it's a
right,
term
right.
we want to use. I
Right.
held out one day, and then the conversation started, between, the organization and my agent. Wasn't anywhere close to where I should be, going into the second day. So this 24 hours later. So going into the third day of practice, I said, hey, me sitting out is not what I want to do. I want to play. So I'm going back. I'm going to report to camp. And, my agent said, yeah, we'll probably get it worked out, kind of thing. So I go to camp, get in there, practice, all that. my contract didn't get done until maybe it was a 1 o'clock game against I think we were playing Cincinnati, first game of the season.
Right.
I signed my contract about 10:30 in the morning, right before the first game.
Well, this is 1990s, the 90 season now. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they held it out all the way to the very last moment,
Wow.
And why? I don't know. Hey, all I do is produce, man. All I do is play. I never met this guy before. We have no history.
Right.
So anyway, played the 1990 season, and at the end of the season, the story that was told to the media was that, well, Erik's not a good tackler. But if you go back and look at the statistics, year-ending statistics, I'm the second leading tackler on the team. So if I'm the second leading tackler or the first leading or the leading tackler on the team, if I'm going to the bench for that reason alone, then what about the other 10 guys that's playing beside me? If I'm going to the bench because I'm a bad tackler, but I'm second on the team in tackling,
right.
then that means there must be some other guys that can't tackle as well. Because I'm a free safety. I'm the last one in the back.
Yeah, no, of course. Sure.
So, but anyway, I go to the bench. They bring in Lonnie Young as a free agent.
Yep.
And Lonnie comes in, does a heck of a job. He's making a lot of tackles. It's not the EMAC show, when the ball gets thrown, it's not getting snatched out the air, but Lonnie's a steady player. Lonnie did a great job. Lonnie could play corner, he could play safety. Lonnie was very gifted, very intelligent. We got along great. They were trying to pit us against each other, but it don't work like that. It ain't work like that. So to this day, I just talked to Lonnie last week, as a matter of fact. So, that's something that'll never happen. But make a long story short, Lonnie, plays, however many games he played, and then he gets hurt. He has an injury that won't allow him to play. So we're playing Houston Oilers, which is the run and shoot with Jerry Glanville and
Warren Moon, all those guys, Gibbons, Haywood Jeffries, all these guys.
So the media is now, coming in, up the cows that say, well, who's gonna play if Lonnie's not playing? Well, McMillan's gonna play. Yeah, he's definitely gonna play. I think actually by that time, Lonnie was gonna play, sparingly. But so what Coughlin said, he said they'll both play. He said they both want to play. So so we get out there, we're playing the game, and it's the old EMAC show. I pick off another pass in the key situation. I think I tightrope the sideline, kept 2 feet in, got out of bounds with it, kind of thing. But it was, it was a turnover that we needed.
Yeah.
Then we go up to Detroit, and they played us both again. It was another run and shoot offense.
Now we're into 91 now. This is 91 now, right?
It may be. It's kind of getting blurry for me
now. Right. Okay.
It probably is, yeah.
Right.
And I take one back. I think it was 60, 70 yards, something like that on an interception. And then, of all the interceptions against Detroit, I think it's my personal favorite.
Wow. Even more than the Marino interceptions, even though, forget the Marino, right?
Yeah, my personal favorite was the one against Detroit because, I caught the ball, I started running, I had some guys that were blocking in front of me, and then I slowed down, to let the guys get in front of me, and there was a guy running behind me trying to tackle me. And this is where I really displayed what kind of speed I had. So in hindsight, as an older guy now, okay, I can't play no more. I look at that highlight clip, and I'm like, that guy right there has some speed. So,
oh yeah.
So when the blockers got in front of me, then you could see me accelerate and just leave everybody that was running behind me and run through this little bitty space before I think Barry Sanders hit me in the hip, just like on the 5-yard line. I maintained my balance, fall in the end zone for a touchdown. I was like, nah, that guy right there did something. That was my personal favorite.
Wow.
So,
now, was that Erik Kramer? Was he the quarterback? Do you remember who the quarterback was? It Erik Kramer, the quarterback?
I think it was Erik Kramer. I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was Erik Kramer. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, if it was 91, that Lion team went to the NFC Championship game and lost to the then Redskins. We won't get into that, but lost to Washington, and Washington went on to win the Super Bowl that year.
Right.
So that was a pretty good Detroit team as well.
Yeah, I mean, Barry Sanders is phenomenal, man.
Well,
I mean,
Of course.
First of all, you can't even see him behind those big linemen, and
Right,
then he appears,
right.
and then he's got 1,000 moves in a space this big, man. I mean, I don't know what else to say about him. Dude is phenomenal, man. Phenomenal.
Yeah, Barry is NFL royalty. There's no question about it. I've had the opportunity to meet him a couple times, and I'm nothing but
Class guy.
yeah, a total. And one of the things I always admired about Barry, I really do, this is a big deal to me, Erik. When he retired, that was it. There was no okay, like so many guys have. They retire and then all of a sudden they're coming back a year later or whatever. Barry, everybody thought Barry was coming back. You remember? Oh, he's going to play for the Dolphins. He's going to do. And that was it. He was done. And he quit at the top of his game. And I always had, Jim Brown did the same thing. The great Sandy Koufax, great pitcher for the Dodgers. Guys that retire at the top of their game and never come back. I have tremendous respect for that. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, he's a class guy. He had multiple skills. I remember playing against him in college. He played at Oklahoma State. Him and Thurman Thomas played at Oklahoma State. And Barry, when Thurman was in the game at running back, Barry came in on third down and ran the slot position and on passing situations. And I mean, that cat, I was trying to cover him one time, man. He gave me a move and I looked this way. And by the time I turned my head to look back and see him, he was like 40 yards downfield waving at the quarterback saying, "Hey, I'm open." I was like, oh my God.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. That back then, Missouri was I guess it was the Big Eight back then, right? Was it the Big Eight, right?
That's right.
Now Missouri's in the SEC now. With all the different moving all around. Barry was at Oklahoma State. Yep. We're talking to the great Erik McMillan, Joe Benigno with the Older Pain podcast. Can I just mention a sponsor here, Erik? You got a second?
Absolutely. Go ahead. Man.
You got to pay the bills somehow. You know how that works out. We got a very big live podcast coming up a week from tomorrow on April 26th, the Tuesday before the NFL draft. And it's at the Sidebar in Hackensack, New Jersey, 45 Main Street, Hackensack, New Jersey. You want to check it out. Come see our buddy Seth there. It's going to be a great time. You got food there, all kinds of great food. Chef Danny is tremendous. This isn't standard pub food at all. You got all kinds of top stuff there. I can't even name half the stuff. They even have a lamb burger there at the Sidebar. So come check us out. That's a week from tomorrow, April 26th. Live podcast, the Sidebar, Hackensack, New Jersey. See me, see Seth, 45 Main Street in beautiful Hackensack, New Jersey. So I want to mention that. And let me also mention, let me mention Kenny Zor too. Kenny, who does a tremendous job, KZ Sports Marketing. Erik McMillan is here, courtesy of Kenny Zor. Check Kenny out. If you're looking to secure your favorite athlete or celebrity for any event, could be a charity function, a corporate golf outing, in-store autograph appearance. Give my good friend, the great Kenny Zor. Kenny will tell you, he writes it right here, Erik, how great he is. So I want to mention that about Kenny Zor. And you could call or text Kenny right on his cell phone, 516-996-7616, 516-996-7616. And we thank Kenny for getting us the great Erik McMillan on the podcast today. Erik, want to go back to your rookie year again, if you don't mind, because in the middle of your rookie year, Mark Gastineau retires. He leaves the team. Yet that Monday night game against the Bills at the Meadow, oh my God, I think he lost 37-14. That was the night they were throwing the blow-up doll around, if you remember this, in the stands. They were lighting fires in the stands that night. And after that game, you laugh, you remember. And after that game, Gastineau retires. He says he's going to go live with Bridget Nielsen. I don't know if she was sick. I don't know what who knows. How much did you get along with Gastineau? He was only there for the 1 year with you, half a year. Did you get along with him? What kind of guy was he? And was the team stunned that he retired?
Well, to be honest with you, man, I tell you that Monday night game was that's a game I don't want to remember, man.
That was a bad night. I agree. Yeah. I'm with you, man. I know.
And I remember we took a TV timeout, and I looked up. I saw some lights. I saw some bright light up to my top right, like around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock on the clock. Right. I looked up there. It was a fire in the stands, man. I was like, wow. I said, my Jet fans they're wild, man. They're wild. I mean, that's something I've never seen before. But to play with Gastineau, I was amazed at the guy, man. I mean, to look physically, he's a human. He was a human specimen, man. He was like a Marvel character to me. I mean, the
Right,
guy had
right,
long hair. You can
right.
point out every muscle on the human body on this dude, man. So I thought he was a, phenomenal Marvel character to me, man. He didn't have a whole lot of friends, on the team. I found myself talking to him more so than a lot of other guys on the team. So, me and Mark were real cool, man. I mean, I needed him. Okay.
Mhm,
He
mhm.
caused the pass rush, quarterbacks
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
old linemen were scared of him. And, you know, they'd throw the ball. I mean, it was like playing keep away. But they see 99 come around the corner. They're just throwing the ball, just randomly, and I'm picking those passes off. So, I mean, I needed the guy. So, yeah, I'm talking to Mark. I'm always in his ear. I'm always trying to stay as close to him as possible and, encourage him. It's like, man, you almost got that sack, man. Keep coming, baby. Keep coming. Maybe he'll throw us one. Maybe get off the field sooner. I, try to motivate him like that. But Mark was in love, man. Mark was in love, and you can't blame anybody for that, man. I mean, family is number one, and if you want, you meet that special somebody, and you want them to be, your family.
Mhm, mhm.
I wouldn't say quit in the middle of the season. I disagree with that, but Mark was in love, man. He's human, man. That Marvel character is human, so
Sure.
um, I don't fault him for that. I wish he had stayed. I wish he had stayed, and I wish we could have. If he had stayed, we might have won 11 games that
Right,
year,
right.
But to his credit, he was one of, if not the leading sack defensive lineman in the league at that time.
Yeah,
I
oh,
think
yeah.
Mark had about 7 or 8 sacks in the first 5 weeks of the season. So he was on his way to another Pro Bowl season, easily. And it hurt me, that he left. It hurt me. But he's a grown man. He make his own decisions, and that's what he wanted to do. And ain't nothing I can do about it. I had to stay focused, trying not to make too many mistakes. So, hey, what can I
Interesting.
say?
Interesting. Again, talking to the great Erik McMillan. Now, I understand that you were and I was a little surprised about this because he was at the end of his career and you were in the beginning of your career, but you were very close. You're very close even now with Marty Lyons. Am I right? Is that true?
That's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah, Marty. Between Gastineau, Marty, Kyle, Clifton,
Yep. Yep.
Mercereau, the guys that were the veterans in the huddle, you know, they didn't take too well to the young guys like myself and Hasty and John Booty, coming in the huddle. John would come in on third down. But for us to be in the huddle, they didn't talk to us. They didn't talk to us. They didn't associate with us, because they had been playing with Lester Lyles, Jerry Holmes.
Yep.
They had been playing with these guys, for what, 12 years maybe. And, those are their, close friends, blood, sweat, and tears. And now they're gone. They're cut. They've been cut, for these young guys coming in.
Sure.
And I respect that. And I knew the only way that we could earn their respect is to get out there and make some plays. The only way, we can't talk our way into this position. This is a production-based business. And, the only way I can get respect for those guys is get out there and do my job better than the guy that was here before me and play hard every snap. And that's what I was there for. And I was able to earn some respect, from, the veteran guys, within the huddle. And, at some point in time, whenever that was, they started to believe in me. They started believing Hasty. They started, John Booty's coming in, blocking punts.
Yeah.
And picking off passes on third down and knocking down balls in key situations. You had to believe in these young guys. These young guys are making big plays. And, Marty and I guess Marty was going into I was going into my 4th or 5th year, I think it was. And that's when I really started gravitating towards Marty. I think, I started to hear more about the foundation. He was doing some things with, with the Jet organization.
Right. Marty had retired already at this point.
Yeah, he's planning his retirement, and he's talking to Mr. Gutman, and, Steve Gutman and I were, we would have a lot of conversations about a lot of different scenarios about life. And, very thankful to Steve Gutman as well for the advice that he gave me on and off the field, But, Marty and I started gelling my 4th or 5th year, and we've been friends ever since. And I care for all my teammates. That's why I stay in touch with them.
Right.
A lot of
Right.
these guys, Marty calls me now from time to time, but they never called me. They don't call to check on me. I call to check on them. Because I genuinely care about my guys. I mean, blood, sweat, and tears. I gave a large part of my life to them. With them. I shared a large part of my life with them, and I feel indebted to them. And I want to know that they're doing well. We had a lot of issues as a league, with guys in retirement, suffering from concussions and
Yep.
knee pain,
CTE.
back pain, and CTE and all this. So I want to check on these people, and I want to make sure, that if there's something I can do, which there were some things I can do because I was on the NFL Former Players Board of Directors and privy to a lot of studies that was coming out. And I know a lot of doctors, I knew where they can get help. And the current players created a entity that former players can get help. Okay. So, and I was working in that entity. So yeah, I'm calling guys. I'm talking to them. I want to know what's going on. And Marty and I have been, we've gotten a lot closer over, I say probably the last 10 years. We really, I want to know everything he's doing. I want to know everything's going on with him. I want to know why you're doing it. How well is it going? So yeah, I call Wesley, Kyle,
Right.
Al Tuna, called Al. Al's been through some stuff.
How is Al doing? I know he had a lot of concussion problems. Is he doing all right?
Yeah, well, he's doing as best as could be expected. Football wise, yeah, he still got some issues, with the vertigo issues. But Al recently lost a daughter a couple years ago, and that's probably the biggest injury of all time that he could experience. So try to keep in touch with Al. Make sure we can cope with this thing and we can make it through it as best as to be expected. But I give Kyle Clifton a call.
Talk to Hasty. You talk to Hasty at all?
Yeah. I talked to Hasty. I think Hasty recently got married, and Hasty recently located. Got his mom living close to him in a new city, and Hasty is Hasty. Hasty is doing this thing, man. And Mickey Schuler, talked to Mickey Schuler.
Right.
Saw him at an event. I think it was last season, and got his number. I call him from time to time. Just randomly call him and see what he's doing, and we talk. Ken O'Brien, saw Ken O'Brien last season. I hadn't seen Ken, man, since I left the Jets, man, in person. And I was signing some autographs coming back for a Jet function last season around Christmas time. This guy runs up behind me and grabs me, and I'm kind of, I'm always looking around, aware of my surroundings. I'm like, who the heck is grabbing me? Turn around, and this Obi-Wan Kenobi is Ken O'Brien.
Right.
So I was happy to see him. I hugged him, man. I didn't want to let him go. I miss that cat, man. But yeah, Marty and I have been real close, man. I've been really involved in his foundation. Every single year, I think it's a good cause to Make-A-Wish Foundation. He's doing some great things for some great individuals that, have a wish, they have a dream, and Marty makes the dream come true, through his foundation. And that's something I wanted to be a part of a long time ago. He has a Georgia chapter, on Jekyll Island. I participate in that chapter as well, not just the New York chapter. So, yeah, Marty's been doing a great thing. He's been sticking with it. It's been successful. He's making a lot of wishes, making a lot of families' wishes come true. And it's a great thing to be a part of. It makes me feel good inside to know that I can be a part of something, that Marty's doing and doing something for these children out here. So
that's terrific stuff, Erik. It really is. Talking again to the great Erik McMillan. I got a couple more spots. Can I keep you for a couple more minutes?
Yeah, man, do it.
All right. I really appreciate it. Number 22, man. He was pretty freaking good. There's no doubt about that. All right, I got to find these spots here. Right now, we have another. You all know about the Hackensack Brewing Company. They've been with me from the beginning. They're located 10 minutes off the GW Bridge, just 30 seconds off Route 4 at Hackensack's Fairmont neighborhood. I have another. We've done 2 live podcasts there. We're going to be doing another one on Friday, May the 6th. And so you want to check that out. That's coming up actually 2 weeks from this past Friday, less than 2 weeks away, May the 6th. You want to come and see it. We're going to have a great time, as we always do. Mike Jones, TJ, Andre, my son-in-law, everybody. The tap room's open from 4:30 to 10, Monday through Friday, 2 to 10 Saturday, 12 to 8 p.m. Sunday, 78 Johnson Avenue in Hackensack. Come in, check us out, have a couple beers. Again, our next live podcast, Friday, May the 6th. So you want to check that out. Also, our buddies at Beach Camera, my buddy Isaac offers all the top brands. They've been in business for over 30 years. They got LG, Samsung, and Sony. Give Isaac a call. Beach Camera, 732-993-6385, 80 Carter Drive, Edison. Let him save you some money. You could use the code JOEB for $15 off your order of $100 or more at beachcamera.com. Check them out. All the best brands. Go see Isaac, and he'll take care of you. Again, Joe Benigno, the O to Pain podcast here, Monday, April the 18th, 2022. Speaking of 22, number 22, the great safety for the New York Jets, Erik McMillan. Best safety the Jets have ever had. I want to get into so we're now into the 91 season, and that turned out to be a good year. You guys went 8-8, should have won more games, but you made the playoffs. You beat Miami. By the way, the final game of the 91 season, as a Jet fan for, since 1965, as I told you, that's one of the best. I have the top 10 wins in Jet history. That's in the top 10. You beat the Dolphins the last game of the year to make the playoffs and knock them out. You remember that game? 23-20.
Yeah.
Johnny Hector had a huge game. Freeman McNeil had that big run to set up the tying field goal by Allegre and all of that.
Right.
How about that? Because I love beating Miami, and that was so good, sticking it to Marino there. How about, you remember that game, the last game of the 91 season?
Oh, yeah, I remember that game. First of all, those Jets-Dolphin games are always fun to play in. Playing on natural grass down there in Miami. We're in Miami, got good weather down there. Playing against, some Hall of Fame guys. I mean, yeah, it is fun. To beat them, was always a pleasure. But I do specifically remember we needed, I think Pat Leahy had back issues or hamstring issues. So on Tuesday prior to the game, they bring in Raul Allegra. And Allegra's coming in, and we got a turf field, out there in Long Island. So he's kicking these field goals, and he's not making a lot of kicks, man.
Is that right?
He's missing field goal after field goal.
Really?
I'm like, Jesus. So, they had 2 other kickers in there kicking. I guess they, make a long story short, they decided to keep Raul.
Right.
So we get down to Miami, we play the game, and I'm like, man, I hope this game don't come down to a field goal, man, because this dude wasn't making many field goals. But lo and behold, at the end of that game, man, Raul lines up. I'm holding hands with my teammates. Me and Lonnie Young, we're both on our knees praying. This guy makes this kick. Right. And sure enough, man, he nailed it, man. He nailed it. And was it an overtime? I can't remember.
Well, he made the kick in regulation to tie the game. Okay. At the end, in the clock, like with no time left on the clock, he makes the kick to tie the game. And then he wins the game in regulation with the field goal as well. In overtime with the field goal as well.
Yeah, I knew that was something like that. So, but man, we prayed hard on that one, man, and he nailed it. So that was the biggest memory of that game that I had. Because I remember I was like, this dude is not he's not an ace. He's not an ace, man. Right. But he's legendary. But that week he was not an ace in practice. But he nailed it in the game, and that's all that matters. So kudos to Raul.
Yeah. And then they let him go the next year. I don't want to get into that either. But some of the many mistakes that this franchise has made. You played special teams. You were still playing, and again, you had a big pick of Marino again in '91. A game you beat him. I think the final score was 41-23. You had the pick. You went about 80 yards. You remember this one? At the end of the game, you went about 80 yards for a touchdown?
Yeah, that game was a special game. For one, I wasn't a starter. Okay, I didn't start.
Right, you weren't starting. That's right.
I wasn't a starter. And we were already, I can't say the game was decided, but we were already winning the game. And,
you were winning pretty good. Yep.
So Pete comes over, Pete Carroll. I keep calling him Pete, but it's Pete Carroll. Coach Carroll comes over to me, and he says, E-Mac, you want to get in? You want to get some of this? I was like, man, come on, stop playing. Because I know darn well they wasn't really trying to put me in. He was like, no, I'm serious. You want something? I was like, if you're going to put me in, man, put me in.
Right.
So he's like, all right, you're up next. I'm like, cool. So then, we're in the fourth quarter and or late in the third quarter. I can't remember.
Right.
But I'm playing the defense. He calls a robber defense. So I'm not dropping deep. I'm playing in the middle of the field behind the linebackers looking for the crossing route. And it probably would have got picked off by Hasty because Hasty was covering the guy. Hasty was in good position. I just beat him to the spot. And Marino's looking and he's looking to hit the guy and he throws the ball. And I was like, oh yeah, I got this one. Pow. So I take it, run down 83 yards down the left sideline. And because of all the different situations I've been through with playing time, as it relates to, being a starter, I'm not a starter, or I'm not good enough to make the Jets, according to the powers that be, the whole sideline, including the ball boys, teammates, ball boys, trainers, everybody runs down to the end zone to greet me in the end zone because they're so happy for me, because I showed them that you can keep me off the field, but if you make a mistake and put me in the game, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I ran that touchdown, and I remember all my teammates, gave me a lot of gratification, man, and kudos and whatnot, and that was a special moment for me, man. To see everybody, support little old E-Mac, just trying to hang around, and that was really, really special, man. And more so than the win,
Right, sure.
For me, it's about family and unity,
Right.
Because football is the ultimate team sport. And, I keep talking about, the guys and I keep in touch with them. That's what it's about for me, man. It ain't so much, when I'm long gone, the Jets are still gonna be playing the Dolphins. So, it's about those, relationships, and I was really emotional after that interception because of the support that everyone showed me, and that was special. I can't say that enough.
You should have gave the ball to Coslet after you got off the field. You should have handed it here, Bruce. This is for you. You should have done that. But anyway, with the way he treated you. Yeah, I know. Hey, again, talking to the great Erik McMillan. Do you remember how many touchdowns, how many picks do you have in your career? You must know. Picks and touchdowns. You remember?
I think they got me at 20-something. I don't know what the number is. Last time I looked, it was several years ago. I think it said 20-something. I don't know what the number is. I don't know.
How about the touchdowns?
Touchdowns? I don't know that either. I must have a few.
No, you got a few. No, you got a few. There's no doubt about that. Yeah.
I don't know how many numbers I have, how many touchdowns I got. I didn't pay attention to that stuff. I'm just trying to win a game.
Right.
Yeah.
I got to ask you about this. What was the deal? Let me just preface this by saying this. And again, I'm talking to the great Erik McMillan, and I can't thank you enough. I mean, for giving me the time. This is an honor for me, Erik. I'm telling you right now. Because, like I said, you were one of my favorite. I got a lot of favorite Jets over almost 60 years or whatever it is. You're right up there.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I hate the officials in the NFL. Okay, I hate them. I can't tell you the dislike that I have for the officials in the NFL. I don't trust them. I think they have too much control over the games, much too much control. They can throw a freaking flag anytime they want and get away with it. Holding penalty, defensive holding, whatever. Outside of the obvious, the false start penalties that are obvious, pass interference, please. It's a joke. All right. There was an issue with Larry Nemers, another guy I couldn't stand. I don't know what happened, but I know there was some kind of issue. He made, I don't know, he said some things to you, that there's with some racial connotations, whatever. Can you tell me what the hell really happened there? Because I never really got clarification. I don't think anybody really did about what happened there.
Well, first of all, I wasn't mic'd up. He wasn't mic'd up. But there was a fight that had taken place on the field that I wasn't involved in.
Right.
I naturally ran to the defense of one of my teammates, and referees, came around and started pulling guys off the pile, so to speak. We were all standing up, so we were on the ground, but he's pulling guys off the pile, and a statement was made and I guess he didn't think that I heard him. And I know he was talking to me because his hands was on me. And
Right.
I reported it. Plain and simple.
Right.
So I reported it, and it got escalated up to the commissioner, Tagliabue, and we had a meeting, this and that. But as a result of it, I was ultimately I was blackballed out the league. So I wasn't the one that was fighting. There's no reports of me saying anything to anybody. There's no reports of me doing anything to anybody. I just reported it, man. And as a result, I can't stick around on any team in the league. You can't say that I didn't have any athletic ability or I couldn't play.
Well, we know that.
So if I couldn't play, okay, that's cool. What's the reason why I can't stick around on anybody's roster?
And there was and nobody ever gave you an explanation. Nothing. I mean, there was no. So I guess you filed a grievance, right? Is that basically what you did against?
Well, I wanted an investigation to take place, to kind of clear my name, to make sure there's nothing that I'm not doing anything. And the commissioner at the time wanted to investigate that as well. So we had a couple of conferences, and as a result, I didn't last too long.
Yeah, that's a shame, man. That's really a shame.
It's not because I had an injury.
Right.
I don't have any scars on my knees or shoulders. So, and I definitely don't have CTE. So ain't nothing wrong with me.
No, you're looking good. You look great, man. I tell you, you look like you could play now. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I look like it. Father Time says no. You can't do this no more.
Yeah, no, I get. I get. And your last year with the Jets was your last 92? Was that your last year with the Jets?
92 was my last year with the Jets. Yeah.
And then I didn't realize you played for the Eagles, right?
Yeah, went to Philadelphia as a free agent. Free agency had just hit 1993, and that's the first time in my life. Football has taught me and teaches everybody else so many different lessons. I signed with Philly, because one, it'd be close to New York, and two, they're paying me the most money.
Sure,
and
well, of course.
I will never take a job for the money again, because I was miserable. Miserable. And that was a valuable lesson for me to learn, never take a job for the money. Do it because, one, you're gonna love to do it. Two, you're gonna ultimately be good at it. You got a chance to be good at it. And then three, then the money issue will be a question, okay, but not number one. All right. And it didn't work out so well for me, and I was with Bud Carson, at Philly during that time, as a free agent. He was the D coordinator. Richie Kotite was the head coach, and Richie came from the Jets.
Yep.
So, the fans were like, they were kind of down on the Eagles during that time anyway. They were calling us the Philadelphia Jets, because a lot of Jets players came over there, coaches came over there. So, I was playing cover 2 majority of the time. I guess in the NFC, you probably need to run cover 2 more so than have a safety player in the middle, like we used to do in the AFC. But, Bud was playing a lot of cover 2, and I wasn't making plays like I used to. And, week 5 weeks into the season, Bud makes a decision, according to my knowledge. Bud makes a decision. He calls me up. Hey, Erik, you need to come in and talk to me, man. I'm like, oh, okay. So I show up, we talk, and we both agreed, it might be time for me to just, go somewhere else. And what he said was, hey, man, I'm gonna go ahead and release you, and you'll have this way you'll have a chance to get with another squad. If we do it in the middle of the season, you'll have a chance to get with another team, because it's not really working out well for you here. And I agreed, and we were both in, agreement. We shook hands, we hugged each other, and gave him the, I'll see you later sign. And I was building a house in Atlanta at the time, and I came back to Atlanta, and I don't think I was home 48 hours. I get a call from Cleveland Browns. So Belichick,
yeah, right,
head coach, Nick Saban's the DB coach, And so they decided to bring me in. They had to make some roster moves. And I looked at it, I was like, hey, I'm going to be playing with the great Erik Turner. You know, he was a heck of a safety.
Yeah.
And Erik Turner was there. And I was like, yeah, okay, let's do it. So, you know, go to Cleveland. I think Testaverde's hurt. He's on IR. They wanted to bring some more DBs in because they had Houston on the schedule, you know, run and shoot. They needed
right in the same division back then.
Yeah, same division, you know. We would show a lot of cover too, and I would end up free in the middle. So I'm back there, you know, making plays after play. You know, I'm making tackles. You know, I'm knocking down balls. Didn't get any interceptions, but I was having fun again. You know, my fun for the game has been revived. And 3 weeks later, I played my 3 games for them, and then they had to make another roster move. I think Testaverde's coming back off. He's coming off of IR, coming back onto the roster. And they told me they needed to make a roster move, and I was the last one in, so I was the first one out.
Wow.
So they released me. This is the same year now, 93.
Yeah, no, right.
So I've been cut twice in 1 year. So now I'm like, you know what? I'll just wait till next year, man. Now this is insane. I'm turning into the kind of player I don't want to be. So have my first son is born. So he's born. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna stay home and chill with him. And so now I'm getting a call from Carl Peterson with the Chiefs. And he's like, yeah, Erik, we were in the playoffs. You know, we got a good chance to make a run. And I'm like, no, Carl, I've been cut twice in 1 year. I don't want to play this game, man. It seems like there's somebody's making a phone call to one of these teams saying, yeah, you need to release that guy. You know, that's what it seems like to me. And no, thank you. And that's how I ended the call. And that was it. So then Schottenheimer calls me. He's the head coach.
Yeah, right.
Now we have a little history, you know. Schottenheimer, you know, we both were in the AFC at the time. We took a trip to Germany together with some other NFL dignitaries back in '88. We went to Germany for about 2 weeks, and you know, we got the chance to know each other. He reflected on that on that experience with me and thought that I would be a good fit, you know, with Herm Edwards being the DB coach. And you know, the whole secondary is all pro. You know, you had Albert Lewis, Kevin Ross,
yeah.
What's my guy's name? Exceptional cornerback, man. I can't even think of my man's name. It'll come to me in a minute. Doggone, he's from Georgia too. But anyway, he'll come back to me. But anyway, I'm playing with all these all-pro guys in the secondary, man. And Herm Edwards is the coach. And, you know, I think the world of Herm Edwards. He was a great coach, players coach. And I told Schottenheimer, no, I don't. I told him the same thing I told Carl Peterson.
Right.
So now they're starting to hit me in the heart. They had one of my boys call me up. Derek Thomas calls me up.
Wow. Right.
And Derek had a couple of choice words from him. He's like, hey, what you doing, man?
Right.
Bro, we are in the playoffs. We got home field advantage. We get ready to make a run for the Super Bowl. We got Marcus Allen. We got Joe Montana.
Yep.
I'm here on the defense. Your whole secondary is all pro. Hey, man, you need to be on that next flight. I'm coming to get you myself. You make sure you're on that next flight. And he hangs up the phone. I was like, Derek is crazy. Derek will come to my front door. I was like, I think I'm gonna get on this plane. So I talked to the wife and she says, no, she says, go. I'm like, all right, cool. So I got the blessing, you know, from the boss and go to Kansas City. I fit right in, man. I fit right in. And we had some great games. We played some great games. Matter of fact, we almost won the Super. We almost made it to the Super Bowl.
Now you were on a team in '93 that lost to Buffalo in the championship game. Is that the one?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So yeah, Buffalo beat us like they had been in our meetings all week.
Well, they knocked Montana out of that game too. If I'm not mistaken, Montana got hurt in that game.
Yeah,
had to leave the game, right?
Yeah, it was a rough situation, but yeah, but it was a great opportunity. And I tell you, those Kansas City fans, those some great fans. They really, really support their team. I remember we went to, who we played that year? We played I can't remember. We played somebody in the regular season, and it was an ESPN game. So when we came back to Kansas City, and we're coming up the jetway off the plane,
it was a Monday night game. You're talking about Monday night if it's ESPN now.
Yeah, and we walked through the jetway, and then there's, you know how there's, well, it's the gate, okay, where all the people can sit and wait for their flight. That whole area, all the way, there was a corridor of people, okay, it meandered all the way to the parking garage. Now, we didn't get back until 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. Those fans were at the gate waiting and cheering.
Wow.
That we had won that game. It was 2:30 in the morning. It was minus 12 degrees.
Wow.
Those fans were loyal. I was like, I can't believe this. This is unbelievable. Never seen this before. So kudos to the Chief Nation down there.
Yeah, they support the team. There's no doubt about that. You know, one thing, and again, we're talking to Erik McMillan, I can't thank, you know, as a Jet fan, one thing that's always bothered me, and I think it's really hurt this franchise, is the Jets don't have their home. They never had a home stadium. When they played at Shea Stadium, it was really the Met Stadium. I'm a Met fan, but it was still the Met Stadium. When they went to play in the Giant Stadium. I mean, and even now, even MetLife Stadium, to me, that's still the Giant Stadium. That's not the Jet. That's always been, you know, I'm so envious. You say Kansas City, Pittsburgh, you know, Baltimore, Philadelphia. Everybody in those cities is rooting for that team. There is no Seattle. That's it. You know, you live in that city, you're rooting for that team. That's not the way it is in New York, you know? New York's not like they're not New York. You're not even playing in New York. You're playing in New Jersey. I mean, like, right? I mean, like, so that to me, that's always been an issue with me as a big Jet fan. They had that chance to get the place in Manhattan that didn't work out. That it should have worked out. It didn't for whatever reason. But that's always been a problem. I'm very envious when I watch these games with these, like you say, Kansas City, because everybody's rooting for the Chiefs. That's it. Everybody, the whole city's rooting for the Chiefs, Erik.
Yeah, well, you have every right to feel that way. And, you know, I respect that. You know, I just kind of use reverse psychology on the situation. You know, if you know, when your team shows up in that facility and they win games, that's your house. Especially if you beat, you know, the Big Blue in that house.
Right.
That's your stadium. So, you know, I respect the way you feel, and, you know, that's all well and good, but I just try to look at you know, I just try to flip it in my mind. You know, every time I stepped in on that field, I said, this is my house and things are going to go my way. And, you know, that's the way I approach it. You know, I don't know.
You follow the Jets now? Do you follow the team now, or
I
no?
do. You see, I got my stuff. I
see that. I see you got your Jet thing on.
Hey, they keep me geared up. They give me the latest gear, and, you know, I keep up with them, man, and you know, love them, man. I'm Gotham Green for life, man. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah,
I'm playing for a few other teams, but I'm Gotham Green, man. It is what it is.
Well, I'll tell you, Erik, again, let me say this. I thank you so much. You like I said, you asked me, you know, I follow the Jet. You know how I'm a Jet fan. I look at the team. When I think of to me, the safety tandem, it's funny. The safety tandem, that's the two top safeties, both wore the same number, 22. You and Burgess Owens, who preceded you.
Wow.
To me, those are the two top, right? Those are the two tops. He's a congressman now in Utah. You guys are the two top safeties in the history of this franchise. And man, I loved you, man. You were a terrific player. Like I told you, I loved the way you owned Marino. That was a big deal for me, you know. And the way you made the transition to be on the special teams, and you were a demon on special teams. You know, we talked about it. You know, Steve Tasker got all his pub for being a big special teams guy. You were every bit as good as that, you know, him in Buffalo and all of that. So
right.
And now, by the way, you coming up to Marty Lyons golf outing?
Absolutely.
You're gonna be it. So I'll see. I'm gonna be there too. I'll see you there, and I want to see you there. You know.
Yeah. Well, let's make sure we link up, man. Marty, you know, Marty wrote a book, and, you know,
I have the book. I
have the book. Matter of fact, I got.
You gonna pull it out? I got it upstairs, so I can't get it. There it is. Yes. Yep.
There it is. I don't know if it's showing up. It's blurry on my screen.
That's okay.
But anyway, you know, I read the book, and I didn't know. He wrote in the book, something about me that I had no knowledge of. And, what he wrote was that when he does his Marty Lyons Foundations and, when he does his event in New York, that I'm the only celebrity that he flies up. And
Is that right?
I was like, man, I had no idea that, I thought he was doing that for everybody.
Right.
And, I'm the only one that he brings in, man. And I really feel special. And, it shows me how he values me, and it's the same way I value him. And, that kind of touched my heart, So, yeah, I'm always going to be there.
Great. Well, I'm looking
always
forward. I
gonna
think
be
it's in
there.
August. I think it's August 8th, I think is the date.
That's the date. That's it. That's
I'm
it.
looking forward to being there and meeting you, man. I'm going to specifically make sure that I seek you out and
Yes, sir.
meet you. And maybe I got a football I need for you to sign so I could put it down here in my little. You could see the
Bring it.
background. You see all the Jet stuff I got back here.
Yeah, I need to make your wall of fame, man. So you need to bring that. You need to bring that. Yeah.
I need to. I'd stop that. Right. I got to put you on here because you belong there. So I really appreciate it, Erik. I want to let you go. I won't take any more of your time. I know you're a busy guy. God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the great memories you gave me when you played for the Jets, and look forward to seeing you up in at the golf outing out on Long Island. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for your time, sir.
Erik, thank you so much. The great number 22, Erik McMillan. I got to do a couple more spots here, so I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to do my spots to end the show. All right.
All right, my man. We'll talk soon.
God bless, Erik.
You too.
See you, bro. Take care.
Right. Bye-bye.
All right, Joe Benigno with you here, the Oda Pain podcast. The great Erik McMillan. Can't thank him enough for the time he gave us. Let me just finish up a couple of my spots. Of course, the great Blue Hill Golf course in Pearl River, New York. You know the deal. 3 great nines there. They got Lakeside, they got Pines, they got Woodlands. I'll be playing there again this week. I'm going to be calling up my guy, Big Mike, and AJ, calling them up as soon as I get done with the podcast here. I got a vacuum down here too. But then I'm going to call and get myself a tee time. My wife and I tee time for Wednesday or Thursday. Looking to play there. What a great golf course. They also got the best pro shop you could have. Forget about these other places. Go see the Blue Hill Pro Shop. They got everything. They got clubs, they got bags, they got shoes, they got hats, they got everything. Pullovers, shirts, pants, you name it, they got it. Go check the Blue Hill Golf Pro Shop. Go see Mike, go see AJ. They coming up in a couple months, they're going to have the simulators upstairs. You can work on your game upstairs as well. Blue Hill Golf Course, Pearl River, New York. Tell them Benigno sent you. Last but not least, my son Johnny, my buddy Ari, his boss over at Anita Tire in Rivervale, New Jersey, Westwood Avenue, Rivervale, New Jersey. Check them out. Or you need tires, you need work done on your car, go check out Anita Tire on Westwood Avenue in beautiful Rivervale, New Jersey. Johnny and Ari, tell them Joe sent you, Benigno, and they'll take care of you. Everybody, I want to thank you so much. I want to again thank Erik McMillan. What a great job he did. We really appreciate him giving us the hour, whatever he gave us. Joe Benigno, the Oda Pain podcast. And everybody have a great week. And I'll talk to you, do one of my rants coming up on Friday. All the love.